Can you hear me? Please give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, guys. Hello, guys. Can you hear me? Hi. Please give me a thumbs up if you can hear me and see me clearly. And let me know if I'm audible. Hello. Please ping me in the chats if you can hear me clearly. Hello, everybody. Good evening. All right. So, okay. Please give me a thumbs up if you all can hear me and see me clearly. Please join quickly, guys. Ping me in the chats if you can hear me and see me clearly. Give me a thumbs up. Okay. Okay. Hi, Srinivasan. Hi, Thamisa. I hope you all can hear me clearly. All right. Okay. So let's wait for a few seconds for others to join. Good evening, Deepak. Hi, Krishna. Okay. Hi, Muthu. Hi, Purnima. Hey, Bharat. Good evening, guys. Good evening, Sai. Good evening, Gone. Gone. Okay. Interesting name, Gone. Documents link. I think you have the documents link with you. So it's already pinged in the chat. Please see that. And good evening, Mukesh. All right. So yesterday we discussed about the abstraction in Java, and also we started with the collections. Okay, so today we are going to continue with that, with what we studied yesterday. And also I'll be revising whatever we have done till now quickly, and we'll do a small project using pretty much all the concepts that we have done, and we'll also be using the collections framework in that project. Okay, hi Richa, hi Yash. Good evening, Nitesh. Good evening, Ruchira. Okay. So let me start by quickly doing a program with the inheritance, right? So what is inheritance? Yesterday we discussed when a child class inherits things from the base class, it's called inheritance. And by default, all the non-private members from the base class are inherited in the child class. Non-private, right? So if a variable or a method is private, then it is not inherited. So make sure if you want to use a member of the parent in the child class, then that member should be non-private. So here I have an example with me, public class doctor. Okay, good evening, Rohan. And doctor is supposed to treat patient. Remember, this class is simply a template for the actual doctor. It's not the actual doctor. We are creating the blueprint or the template for the doctor object. Now, every doctor is supposed to have some behavior. One of the behaviors I've written here is treat patient method. And here, doctor is treating patient, right? This is the printing statement. Now, remember the is a relationship. So, dentist is a doctor. Yes. So, class dentist extends doctor is fine. Why this is fine? Because is a relationship. Remember, whenever we want to establish inheritance relationship, there always has to be an is a relationship. So I can write here dentist is a doctor. Okay. Of course, this is true. Dentist is a doctor, right? Similarly, I have another class here, cardiologist. Extends doctor is a relationship who valid for this parent-child relationship? Yes. Cardiologist is also a doctor, right? So here also I can write is a relationship holds true for this one, right? Cardiologist is a doctor. All right. Uh, so certificate you can download, Ankit, from the link. This one you have that thing. LetsUpgrade.notion.site, and I think we can also share the link in the chats for downloading the certificate. Okay. Now there is one parent class here, doctor, and it has two children, dentist and this cardiologist. Now remember, this method is a non-private method, right? Had it been a private method, then we would not be able to use it. For example, let me try to make a private variable here. Private int, let's say a equals 10. So this private variable is not directly accessible by the child classes, dentist and cardiologist. So make sure every time you make a private variable in the parent class, it's not directly accessible by the child class. Yes, you can access it indirectly using a method, through a method, right? So here, right now I don't need this private variable, so let's comment it. Here. Now I want to create the object of a doctor, a dentist and a cardiologist. So let me create a class now, and class here I'm writing doctor tester. Now yesterday we discussed that by default or as a convention in Java, each Java file must only have a single class. But here you see we have doctor, dentist, cardiologist, and also this doctor tester class. Basically we have 4 classes in this Java file. It is something which is not recommended in the real time at industry level, right? But since we are learning and trying to understand Java, so yes, right now we can do this. But in real time, if you ever have this kind of scenario, you have to make this doctor, dentist and cardiologist classes in different files. Now in doctor tester class, I'll make the main method. Okay, good evening, Dharanish. Now in the main method, I'll create the object of doctor. Remember upcasting, right? So I'll use the doctor reference, doctor, let's say D1 equals new dentist. Okay. Yes, dentist is a doctor. So this is upcasting, right? I can do upcasting. But using this D1 reference, what all methods can I call? Okay. Ram Rajan. So what are the methods that I can call using this doctor D1 reference? See, using the doctor reference, that means using the parent's reference, you can only call those methods which are declared in the parents class, right? So using this doctor D1 reference, I can only call parent specific methods. That means in the doctor class, I only have one method, treat patient. I can only call treat patient method. Let me try to call it d1.treat patient here. If I run this, of course it would run fine. Let's try to run this. Run doctor tester. Okay, so all right, this is another class where we have some kind of error. So let me comment this for now. IntelliJ won't let you run your program if you have an error in some other file also. So while commenting this one here. Now let's go back to our doctor class. Try to run this. It works fine, right? Doctor is treating patient. Which method it runs? d1.treat patient. I'm calling doctor specific treat patient. Okay, but which method does it call? Okay, see, actually whenever I call this treat patient method, the existence of this treat patient method is checked in the D1 class, which is D1 type class is doctor class. Yes, it's present there. In the doctor class, we have the treat patient method, but the actual method that is supposed to run is of the actual object type, which is of the dentist type. So the treat patient method of the dentist class will run in this case. Okay, now in the dentist class, I have a treat patient method. Yes, it's the override version, but here I'm calling the parent class's treat patient method using this super keyword, right? So super dot treat patient. Super is a keyword in Java which is used to call the members. When I say members, it can mean the instance variables or instance methods. Okay, so super is used to call the members of the parent class. In this case, it's calling the treat patient method of the parent, which is doctor class. That's why it's printing doctor is treating patient. But now let's say I don't want to call the parents method. I want to write something here. Let's say dentist specific treat patient method. Okay, so so here I'm writing teeth checkup. Okay, fine. Now let's run this method. And now you'll see it's going to run the dentist specific treat patient method, which is teeth checkup. Okay. Now, this is one thing. Let me change the appearance to distraction free mode here. And let's now try to call another method. In the dentist class, I have two methods. One is the treat patient, other one is the do root canal, right? Dentist is supposed to do root canal therapy. So let me also try to call now d1 dot do root canal. See, this is an error. Doesn't work fine. Why? Because using the d1 reference, using the doctor type reference, yes, you are referring to the dentist object, but using the doctor type reference, you can only call those methods which are declared in the doctor class. So in the doctor class, there is only one method treat patient, right? Though yes, there is a do root canal method in the dentist class, but still I cannot call the do root canal method using the doctor type reference, right? So this is an error. If I try to run this, see, if I hover my mouse on this, it's going to give me this error. Cannot resolve the method. Okay, it's not given. It's not showing clearly. So let me try to run this to show you the error. See, it says Java cannot find symbol. What symbol? Basically, it's not able to find do root canal method. Location where it's not able to find variable d1. In simple language, what's happening here is my Java compiler is telling that this do root canal method is not present in the doctor class, right? This is simply what it's telling. Okay. So Rohan is saying, is that method was in parent class would have run? Yeah, okay. I think you understood, Rohan. Okay, fine. Yes. So do root canal, if it was in parent, of course it would have run, right? So basically, if you want to run any method using the parent's reference, that method declaration or definition should be there in the parent class. Now, how do I run this do root canal method? Simple, downcast. Just as we have upcasting, a dentist object can be referred to by a doctor reference. Similarly, we can downcast. Same D1 reference can be downcasted to a dentist reference. So right now D1 is a doctor type reference. I can downcast it to a dentist type reference. How? Dentist, let's say den, okay, equals, simply you can write here dentist and D1. See, there is only one object in the heap area, one dentist object. Same dentist object was referred to by a doctor reference. Upcasting, right? I have downcasted the same dentist object. Now the same dentist object is referred to by a dentist object, dentist reference, right? It is possible. Now, since I have a dentist reference, now I can call this do root canal method. Now let me try to call it den dot do root canal, and now there is no error. Now compiler compiles it fine. Let me run it, and yes, it runs fine. Let me try to bring this to the top right. Here you see this method runs fine. Okay. So basically it's the same method, same object. Only thing is I have just changed the reference type. How? By downcasting. I'll write here. This is called downcasting. Okay. Similarly, make sure whenever you want to call any method of the child class using the parent's reference, that prototype or the method declaration should be there in the parent type. Otherwise, it won't work. Okay. Hi Bahrain. Somebody is asking for the assignments. Okay. So let's see what we can do. Now, see, technically doctor is again very abstract thing, right? So I should not be creating this treat patient method as a concrete method, because we don't know how a doctor is supposed to treat patient, and doctor itself is very general or you know uh, generic term. So in real life, if you want to treat yourself, if you want to get yourself treated by the doctor, you would always look for a specialist. Let's say if you have problem in your if the bone gets fractured, right, you will always go for a bone specialist, okay, which is a ortho doctor, right? For if you have problem in your teeth, you will go to a dentist, right? Similarly, heart patient will go to a cardiologist, kidney patient will go to a nephrologist. So basically, this doctor itself is very abstract. I don't want to give any body to this treat patient method, right? So let me do one thing. Let me quickly comment this out, because doctor is not specific, right? I want specific doctor, and I'll just make this method as abstract. So how do I make abstract method? By writing the abstract keyword. Yes, you have to make the class also as abstract. So if I do this abstract public class doctor, and yes, you can write here abstract void treat patient. Now this is my abstract method. They don't have any body, so yes, this would work fine. Now whether you have an abstract method or you have a normal method, okay, that's up to you, up to the programmer. Okay, in real time, let me tell you, as a programmer, as a developer, as a software developer, rarely you will get to create an abstract class, right? Abstract classes will be provided by the API. You just have to know how to use them. Okay, so now what I'll do is I will so this method treat patient is what? It's an override method. This is method overriding, right? This is override method. My bad, this is overridden method, right? Okay, the parents class method is the overridden, not override. So this is overridden method in the parent class, and the child class's treat patient method is the override method. Okay, fine. This is about your method overriding and abstraction. Now make sure this non-private variable is inaccessible, right? Let me try to use this private variable. My bad, this private variable is inaccessible in the child class. Let me try to use this private variable. How? Okay, let me simply try to use this den dot a. Okay, it gives error. It says A has private access in doctor, right? So yes, doctor is the parent to dentist, but still this private variable doesn't participate in the inheritance directly. But yes, I can have a method and use this private variable through that method, right? But provided that method is not private. In simple language, if any method or variable is private, you are not allowed to access it directly from an outside class, right? So this is about the private. Okay. Now, this is one way we implement inheritance in Java. There is another way in which we implement abstraction, not inheritance. Yes, to use abstraction, you must use inheritance, right? See, if I don't inherit this abstract class, there is no use of this abstract class, right? So this is one way of using abstraction. Another way of implementing abstraction is Java is through the abstract classes is the one way. Second way is through interface, right? So now we'll see how we can use the interfaces. All right. So let me try to simply create a program with the interface. See, here I am simply using, let's say, car, or let's say vehicle. Okay. VEHI. Okay. This is my interface and I want to create an interface. What's an interface? Interface is simply like a class, right? But all the methods in an interface are by default abstract. So interface is the full implementation of abstraction. Okay, so public interface vehicle, and yes, every vehicle is supposed to move forward or move backward. Let me make a method here, void move forward. Okay, so do I need to write abstract public here? It's optional. See, by default, all the methods in an interface are abstract and public. So here I'm going to write by default all the methods in an interface are abstract and public. Okay, this is the last example. After that, I'll do a small assignment with the collections framework, right? The project. Okay, so yes, I can make another method here like this, abstract, public, let's say move backwards. Okay, and yes, of course it must have a return type. So let me have a return type also, void. Abstract, public, void, move backward. Okay, so these are the two methods of my interface. Now, how do I use this interface? Just like a class is supposed to be inherited, an interface is supposed to be implemented, right? So I'll create a class now. Class, let's say Maruti. Okay, Maruti is a car, right? It's supposed to be an actual object. Right now I'm making the template class. Implements. See, a class is not supposed to inherit an interface. A class is supposed to implement an interface. So implements, class Maruti implements vehicle. All right. Now this class now gets both these abstract methods. Remember, this method is also abstract, right? So though we have not written abstract and public here, but by default, all the methods in an interface are abstract and public. So abstract and public is optional here. Okay, class Maruti implements vehicle. Now I must implement all the abstract methods in a non-abstract class. So yes, these two methods are getting inherited. These are abstract methods, move forward and move backwards. They are getting inherited in the Maruti class. But Maruti is a non-abstract class. It cannot have abstract methods. So I must implement these abstract methods. Basically, I must give them body. Okay, I must override them. I told you the whole purpose of abstract methods is to get overridden. Okay, so now I have overridden these abstract methods here. Let me change the view. Appearance, distraction free mode. Yeah. So these two methods are now overridden, right? So, I mean, in the Maruti class, we say these are the override methods. In this interface, these are the overridden methods. And how do I use them? Of course, you can write some printing statements. So here I can write car is moving forward. Okay, and in this one you can write car is moving backwards. Okay, now just as we can do upcasting in case of a class, similarly we can upcast in case of interfaces also. Now vehicle is the parent interface of Maruti class, right? So I can create a class, tester class basically, vehicle tester, and in this class I can have a main method, and in the main method we can create an object of the Maruti class. Okay, new Maruti. And yes, we can have the reference to the Maruti object as the parent interface. Just as we can use the reference of the parent class to refer to a child object, similarly we can use the reference of a parent interface to refer to a child object. So here this new Maruti can be referred to by a vehicle reference. It is all correct. We can do this. Okay. Now tell me, can I call these two methods move forward and move backwards using this reference v? Yes or no? What do you think? Type in the chats quickly. If you think I can call these two methods move forward and move backwards using this reference v, say yes in the chats, else say no. So I'm trying to do this v dot move backwards, v dot move forward. Will this program run or will this show some kind of error? This is IntelliJ IDEA, right? I've just used the distraction free mode. Okay, see, yes, it will run fine. You're right, Naveen. See, the reason is because these two methods, move backward and move forward, they should be present in the type of V. What is the type of V? Is vehicle, right? Now, remember I told you reference data types, any class or interface or array or enum. These four, whenever you create a class or an interface or an array or an enum, basically you are creating a new reference data type. So this vehicle is a reference data type. Similarly, Maruti is also a reference data type. So here I am using a vehicle reference data type. In order to call these two methods using the vehicle type, these two methods must be present in the vehicle interface or class, whatever. Yes, these two methods are present. Move forward, move backwards, right? But now I am creating one more method. Let's say void change gear. Now this method is Maruti specific method. It's not present in the vehicle interface. So now, okay, let me write something here. Gear changed. Now if I try to call this method using the reference V, can I call it V dot change gear? What do you think? Write in the chats yes or no. Can I call the change gear method in the Maruti class using the parent's reference V? Change gear, right? Write in the chats yes or no. If you think I can call it, print yes, write yes. If you think we can't, then write no. See, of course, we can't call, right? Yes, no dynamo, we can't. Okay. The reason is, whenever you want to call a method using a reference, that method should be present in that reference type, in that class or an interface. So I am trying to call this change gear method using the reference V. What is the type of V? Vehicle. Is change gear method present in the vehicle class or interface? No. In the vehicle interface, there are only two methods, move forward and move backward. So I cannot call change gear method using V because my compiler will first check the existence of change gear method in the vehicle interface. Then of course, at runtime, it's going to run the actual change gear method of the Maruti object, of the Maruti class, right? So it's a two-way process. First and foremost, compiler checks the existence of the method in the reference type. Only if it's present, then at runtime, JVM will run the actual method of the object class, that is Maruti class, right? In this case. So now we can't run this. Yes, we can downcast. Once we downcast, then we can run. So here I can downcast in the same line. This is also possible. So Maruti V, here I have downcasted this like this, and now I can run. So I have downcast this V from vehicle to Maruti, right? Now I can call this change gear method. Let me now run this. Okay, so let's move it to the right. Here, yes, we can call by downcasting. Yes, Nitesh, you're right. Okay, I hope this thing is clear to you people, all of you. So this is about your interface and how you can use methods in the interface. Till now, if you have any questions, please quickly ping me in the chats. If you understand this, please give me a thumbs up in the chats. All right. Guys, please give me a thumbs up in the chats if you understand this all. We are going to do a quick small assignment on collections framework, which would be your project. And before this, if you have any doubts, please let me know. All right. How it's possible? Yeah, we have downcasted swastik, simple, right? I told you, no? V is of the type vehicle. So using a vehicle type, you can only call methods which are declared in the vehicle interface. As simple as that. This is a rule of Java, right? So you can't do anything with it. This is how Java people have created Java, right? Basically, can a vehicle change gear? No. If you want to understand it from the real world perspective, it can be any vehicle, right? It can be a bullock cart or a horse cart. Is there a way to change the gear in normal cycle or bullock cart or horse cart? No, right? So vehicle is not supposed to change gear, right? Okay. So let me now go to the next topic, and quickly I will explain you about the compare to method of the string class. Okay, so okay, so instead of this, let me do one thing. Let me directly go to the project. See, I have already created a project here. Basically, this is a package, and the name of the package is movie project, right? I have to explain you one more thing, which is the compare to method in the string class. What I'll do is I'll directly explain you this with the project itself, right? Now, in this movie project package, we have a movie class and we have this myflix. It's basically like Netflix, right? So this is pretty much the same movie class which we did yesterday. If you remember, yesterday we created a movie class, and now this movie class is implementing an interface, right? We just studied what is an interface. It is a fully abstract entity in Java, and this comparable interface is an inbuilt interface in Java, right? It has one abstract method, and that abstract method is compared to method, right? So whenever any class implements an interface, that class has to implement the abstract method of that interface. So in this case, there is one abstract method in the comparable class which is compared to, and we must implement that method. And yes, we have implemented this method here. See, public int compare to, right? And here I have written override. So the return type of the compare to method is int, and it takes an object type parameter. Okay, what is this? What is the code inside it? Don't worry about it right now. We'll come to that. Just understand that this compare to method is in the comparable interface, and we have to override it. Okay, now this movie class, yeah, I have told you about returning an object, right? Okay, this movie class is supposed to be a template for the actual movie object. Now this movie class is, it has a title. Basically, every movie is supposed to have a title or name. Right now I'm using the variable as title. You know, title of the movie is, let's say, Titanic or Dil Wale Dulhania Le Jayenge or whatever, right? Any Matrix or Avengers, whatever. Basically the name of the movie. Year of release and genre here, right? So I've taken 3 attributes for every movie object: title, year of release, and genre. Of course, they have to be variables. So attributes of an object are represented as instance variables. Private, make them private to make it a well encapsulated class. I don't want to access, we don't want that anyone should access or should be able to access our instance variables directly without the methods, right? That's why we have made them private. And here we have getters and setters for all these 3 variables. So this is public string get genre, it simply returns the genre. Public void set genre, it sets the genre. Similarly, we have public string get title. For title also I have getter and setter method. And for year of release also we have getter and setter methods here. So basically for all 3 variables we have getters and setters. And yes, we have a constructor here which is there to make things easy for us. So what does it do? It simply, whenever we want to create the object of the movie, we can simply directly pass the title, year of release, and genre. Right? So in this case, we don't have to set the title, year of release, and genre separately using the setter methods, right? It's a good way. We always must have a habit of using the constructor. This helps us a lot in making our code easy. Okay. Fine. Now, next thing is, let me go to this myflix class. Myflix, right? It's like not the actual simulation, but a console simulation of Netflix. Basically, this myflix is a software which has all the movies, and just as all the movies have a title, year of release, and genre, similarly here also my movies are supposed to have a title, year of release, and genre. For that, yes, my movie object must have title, year of release, and genre, which it has already. So what I am going to do is I am going to create an array list over here. Okay, and in this array list, No, it's not an interface. I don't know, Prisha. I have not created a constructor in an interface, right? This constructor is there in the normal class. This is class movie. It's implementing an interface comparable. Comparable is an inbuilt interface. It's present in java.util package, right? So I have to import it like this. Okay, if I write it, it automatically gives me the option to import. Basically, if you just write it and it gives you the option to import, you can click that. Okay, so this is not a class. Sorry, this is not an interface, right? It's a class. Okay, which is implementing inbuilt comparable interface. Now this, let's come back to myflix class. I have created an array list here, which is supposed to take only movies. I have used this generic. So my array list should only contain movie objects, right? And the reference is movies. I'm adding movies, movies.add, new movie. The title is Judwa 1995. I don't even know. This is the old Judwa, I guess. Okay, let's make it 1997. And whatever, this is drama. Okay, now I'm adding another movie object, Titanic, year of release 1997, genre is romance. Get Out 2018, thriller. You can add as many movies as you want, right? You can add as many movies. There is no limit in this array list of the number of objects you can add to this array list. Now, first and foremost, let me try to print the movies and see what do we get. So let me try to comment the code below, and here. So I'm simply printing my movies. Let's see what do we get in the output. We get all the movies, right? But how are we getting the movies? Okay. See, yesterday when we tried to print this movies object in the array list, we were getting some hash code. Today we are getting the movies. The reason is, in the movie class, I have this method toString. Okay, let me comment this toString method for now. And let's see what do you get. If I comment this toString method, and now if we try to what is this? Okay, let me comment this also. Here. Now if we try to run this program, let's see what do we get. See, we don't get the actual movie names. We get this movie project.movie at symbol some hash code. Movie project.movie at symbol some hash code. So what is this? Whenever you try to print any object in Java, right? By default, it always prints the unique hash code. It does not know which movie is it. Is it the, Judwa or Titanic or whatever, right? But I now want to print something else. I want to print maybe the actual name of the movie or the actual year of release or the actual genre, right? In order to do that, I must override a specific method, which is the toString method. So whenever you try to print any object, in this case, we are trying to print the movie object, right? So if you printing the movies, JVM internally is trying to print individual movie objects. And in doing that, it's printing the hash codes. But we don't want to see the hash code. So how do we get the actual movie names? Just simply override a method, this toString method. What is this toString method now? In Java, there is a parent class to all the classes, right? By default, all the classes of Java has a parent class. That name of that class is object class. So in this case, of course, you didn't know it before today, right? So in this case, I have written it like this, public class movie, but actually it's like this. Internally, my compiler adds extends object. So object is the root class or the parent class of all Java classes. Yes, a class can simultaneously extend a class and also implement an interface. It is possible in Java, right? And it can also implement multiple interfaces. It is also possible. Now, this extends object is optional because anyways my movie class is inheriting from the object class. In this object class, which is inbuilt, object is an inbuilt class, right? So I'm not doing anything. I'm just telling you the concept which is already there, right? This inbuilt object class has a method, and the method name, it has 11 methods, right? The object class basically has 11 methods. One of the methods of the object class is this toString method. Whenever you try to print the object of the current class, in this case movie class, this toString method runs, right? And it prints the hash code. But now I want to print the title of the movie. So what I'm doing in this toString method, I'm overriding it and I'm returning the title. So now whenever I'm try to print the movie object, it's going to print, my JVM will execute this toString method, which is not returning this unique hash code, but it is returning the actual title of the movie, right? So now let me go to MyFlix and rerun this program. Now you'll see instead of these titles, you'll see the actual names of the movies. Okay, yeah, you see the actual names of the movies. So Nidhi, this session is getting recorded, so you can see this after the class. Okay, now we have our movies here, right? But are they in the sorted order or not? See, these movies are not in the sorted order. I want to sort these movies out, right? So how can I sort these movies? In order to sort these movies, okay, the movie object must be comparable, right? So now I'll tell you one concept quickly. It's the concept of comparing the things. So let me open Chrome, and here I have tutorials point wide. See, I'll ask you a simple question. Basically, we want to compare the movie objects, right? So I have different balls here. Let me take different balls here of different sizes, and you have to sort them. You have to tell me which ball comes first and which should be the last one. Okay, so out of these three balls, tell me what should be the sequence. So if you have to sort them, right? So what should be the sequence? Let's call this ball number 1. Let's call this ball number 2. Let's call this ball number 3. You have to sort them in ascending order of the sizes, right? So which ball should come first and which ball should come the second and the last, right? So the smallest should be first, and then should be the bigger one, and the biggest should be the last one. So like it should be 1 2 3, 3 2 1, 3 1 2, whatever. You can quickly type in the chats and let me know. Quick. Basically, I'm telling you how internally Java sorts the things. Okay. Quickly type in the chats and tell me. Yes. 312, you're right. Right? 312. Naveen Sai. See, it's quite obvious. You sorted these things. How? By seeing it internally, subconsciously, you are comparing the sizes of the balls. What I'm trying to explain to you is whenever you are sorting some things, whenever you are sorting anything in life, you have to compare those things internally. Similarly, these balls should be compared, right? Now you have compared them using the sizes. So there has to be a basis of comparison in order to sort any object, right? Sort multiple objects, 2 or more objects. Similarly, let's go back to our IntelliJ now. I want to sort the movies. But what is the basis of sorting these movies? In order for JVM to sort these movies, I must specify a basis on the basis of which the JVM is supposed to sort these movies objects, right? So what should be the basis? The basis can be any of the instance variables of these movie objects. It can be the title of these movie objects, like Judwaa, Titanic, Get Out, or it can be the year of release, okay, or it can be the genres. So how do I specify that? How do I give that basis? There are two ways to do that. One simple way is using the comparable interface, right? Comparable means something which can be compared, some objects which can be compared with each other. This is the reason I have implemented the comparable interface. This extends object is optional here. So for now, I'm deleting this. Okay. Because by default, this movie class is inheriting from the object class. So class movie implements comparable. What does it mean? Every movie object is comparable to every other movie object, right? Why do we want to do this? Because later at some time we want to sort the movie objects, right? So how do we do it? Now comparable has a method inbuilt abstract method, this comparable interface, which is getting inherited in the movie class. And this movie class is a non-abstract class, and we know that a non-abstract or concrete class cannot have an abstract method, so we must override the abstract method coming from the comparable class. What is the method? That method is compare to method. This is the method, right? So why are we doing this? Why are we implementing comparable interface, and why we must implement the compare to method? It is because we want the movie objects to be comparable. Why do we want to do that? Because we want JVM to compare the movie objects in order to sort the movie objects, right? We want to sort the movie objects. Now, basically we want to give some basis to the JVM. How do we give that basis? See, in the compare to method, now what do we write? The main thing is the content that you write in the compare to method. It's just mostly 1 or 2 lines of content, right? So what code you write here? This compare to method always takes an object as a parameter, right? Now, this object is always a movie object. This object O is the same object of the class type in which the method is declared. So right now the compare to method is in the movie class. So for sure my JVM will pass a movie object in this parameter. How is it going to do this? Why is it going to do this? That you don't have to know. As a programmer, as a coder, simply know, because this thing is done internally, right? You simply have to know that JVM will automatically pass a movie object when it tries to compare one movie object with the other, right? It automatically passes a movie object in this object O. And yes, in order to call the functions of the movie object, I must downcast here this object O to the movie. So this is downcasting. Object is the parent, movie is the child. Object is the parent of all Java classes, right? So I am downcasting it here. This is a general process. Every time you have an object here, downcast it to the current class. Right now my current class is the movie class. I am downcasting it here. And once I downcast it here, now what I do is I am giving my JVM a basis. Here this dot title, this is one thing, right? Now don't get confused with this dot title dot compare to m dot title. What does it mean? M is the current movie object which I am getting in this parameter as the object type object, okay, and which I am downcasting to the movie object, to the movie type, right? Now there is another title or another movie object here using which this compare to method will be called, which again you don't know. Basically there will be 2 titles here. One is the title of this movie object O, which you are downcasting to M, and one is the title of this movie object using which internally JVM is calling the compare to method, right? So we have 2 movie objects. So at a moment JVM compares 2 movie objects, okay, which are those 2 movie objects, and everything is happening internally, right? You don't need to know how exactly it is happening, you just need to know that this happens, and you just need to write this one line in the compare to method. Okay, one is the movie object using which JVM calls this compare to method, and other is the movie object which JVM passes in this object O type parameter. Okay, now what happens is you have to compare some instance values of both these movie objects, okay, and that comparison will be used by JVM to check which movie object is smaller or should come before insorting, and which movie object is greater and should come after insorting. Here my basis is the title. I am giving the title, which is a string value here. Now, before understanding this, you should understand what is compare to method. Quickly, what I am going to do is, I will create a new class to explain you the compare to method here. Compare to method. So what I am going to do, we'll come back to that movie object or movie class. But before that, I want to explain you the compare to method. So let's take a string. I have a string s equals, let's say, hello. And I have another string, let's say string s1 equals, I have here hell. Okay, let's see what compare to does. So s dot compare to s1, what do you think should be the output? Let me run this. See, this compare to method compares two strings. If my JVM thinks the first one is uh, see here the output is 1, right? Why? Because JVM checks the number of characters in both these strings, right? So number of characters in the first string is 5 and in the second string is 4. So basically it does 5 minus 4 here, right? Which is 1. Okay, now let me do one thing. Let me do here. So here I'm taking another two strings now. Here I'm taking, let's say, tin dot compare to tan, right? Now let's run this. Now JVM gives you a one, any numeric value when you compare two string based on the lexical or dictionary order, right? So tin comes first in the dictionary or tan comes first? Okay, so of course tan comes first in the dictionary, right? Because A comes first. So if that means tin is bigger than tan, right? So here I can write, so string tin, you can say, is greater than tan. So what do we learn? If you compare two strings using the compare to method, if the first string is greater, you get a positive number, right? If tin is greater than tan, you get a positive number. If let me write another example here. So here I am writing, let's say, ago dot compare to go. Now which word should come first in the dictionary? Of course ago should come first in the dictionary, right? A comes first, then G. So let's see, what do we get? That means you get a negative number, right? Basically what's happening is JVM is telling you that this is smaller than this string. So ago is smaller. Ago is the this string. Go is the specified string, right? So if the current string or this string is smaller than the specified string, you get a negative number. If the current string is greater than the specified string, you get a positive number, as simple as that, right? So here you get a negative number. As I'll write, ago is smaller than go, right? Okay, so you just have to remember this thing, that every time you compare two strings using compare to method, your JVM gives you either a positive number or a negative number. If the first string is greater than the second string, you get a positive number. If the first string is smaller than the second string, you get a negative number. If both the strings are same, you get a 0, right? So this is what we will use in that compare to method. Let me show you the two strings which are equal. Okay, let's say do dot compare to do. Here both the strings are same, you get a 0. Let me run this program now. Let's comment this one out here. Okay, so now you see the output. In the first example, tin is greater than 10. When I say greater, means it comes after in the dictionary order. Okay, so we get a positive number. In the second one, ago comes before then go, so you get a negative number here, -6. And excuse me, in the third one, both the strings are same, so you get a 0. Now there is a logic behind this. What number do we get exactly? Okay, it depends on the actual Unicode number, or maybe the number of characters may be different. Then there is a different calculation. Now we don't want to go in that calculation. Right now just understand, if first string comes after, you get a positive. If first string comes before the second string, you get a negative number. If both the strings are same, you get the 0. Now let's go back to our program, which is this myflix. In the myflix, let me go to the movie. class, in the movie class, now see what I'm doing. We are getting the titles of both the movies. This is the title for the first movie, this dot title. Let me use parenthesis here. Dot, I'm comparing this to the title of the second movie. M dot title. So now how should it work? If this title, this is string, right? If it comes before then the second string, then what should you get? Okay, basically you'll get a negative number or a positive number or zero, right? So let me go to that example here. This, if first string comes after the second string, you get a positive number, right? So here I can write yeah, here. Okay, if I'm writing if this dot title, or I can write if first value is greater than second, then you get a positive number, right? Then positive number. And if first value is smaller than the second value, you get a negative number. Okay, here is smaller, you get a negative number. And if both the values are same, you get a 0. So if both the values are same, we get what? 0. So what have we done? We have simply provided a basis for the JVM to compare my strings, that's it, nothing else. So here the first value is the title for the first movie, and the second value is the title for the second movie, right? So if the first value is greater, means if it comes after the second, we get a positive number. If the first value comes before, that means it's smaller than the second value, we get a negative number. If both are same, we get a 0. That's it. We have to do nothing else. Internally, now it's the headache of JVM to figure out how to use this. Okay, our job is just to override this compare to method and compare the titles, and then simply in this myfix class, what I am going to do is I have used this collections.sort. Now what is it? See, collections is an inbuilt class in Java. Okay, so the name of the topic is collections framework. This is one thing. Collection is an interface, right? It's collection. Now collections with this S is a utility class in Java. Okay, what is it all about? This collections class, it has certain utility methods. Okay, and we can use those methods to do different things, right? To perform different operations. One of the operations is sorting operation. Now here I'm using collections.sort. What does it do? It takes any list. Okay, list is the parent interface of array list. So my sort method takes my list, in this case array list, and it sorts them. Now how is it supposed to sort it? It is supposed to sort it based on the parameter which we have passed in this compare to method. This one. Okay, so in this case, my collections.sort method is sorting my movies array list based on this compare to method. And here I am comparing the movies based on the title, right? We have used this compare to method. Basically, we are simply comparing two strings of two different movies. And you'll say there are only two movies, doesn't matter. This will be taken care by the JVM. There may be 2 movies, 200 movies, 2000 movies. JVM will compare each movie just by this one simple method, right? So now JVM has sorted all my movies. Now if I print my movies, now you will see my movies come in a sorted order. Okay, now let me try to run this program. So I am printing my movies before sorting. Okay, so let me also write here before sorting, and then we sort, then we print the movies after sorting. You will see my movies will be printed in the ascending order of the title, right? So let me write here after sorting. Okay, now let me run this program here. Okay, it's running this program. I don't want to run the previous program. Let's run this one here. So before sorting, not sorted, right? It's printing the movies in the same order as I uh, added them in the array list. Judwa, Titanic, Get Out. Now after sorting, since I've sorted them based on this parameter in the movie class, okay, which specifies the basis on this title, based on the titles, right? So my movies are sorted based on the ascending order of the titles. So G comes first, Get Out. J comes after that, Judwa, then Titanic. So this is how we have sorted the movies. Okay. Yeah. This is how we have sorted all the movies. And now this is one way of sorting the movies, but the thing is, using this method, I can sort my movies based on only one parameter, which is over here. You see this titles, right? Now I don't just want to sort my movies based on title. I want to sort my movies based on year of release also and genres also, right? So can I use comparable now? No. Now this is a drawback of comparable interface. Using comparable, you can compare the objects only on one basis, right? So you can either use the comparable interface and use its compare to method, and compare the movies either based on the titles or on the year of release or on the genres, right? But now I have the requirement of comparing the movies based on the year of release and also on the genres. So what do I do? Null pointer exception. What is null pointer No, Nitesh, I don't know why you're writing null pointer exception. Okay. Fine. Now, I want to sort my movies based on the other two parameters also, right? So this I can't use comparable now. So the best way is now, instead of using comparable, let me now try to use comparator. So there are two things, comparable and comparator. Comparable is an inbuilt interface. Actually, both are inbuilt interfaces in Java. They are used to sort my objects in the collections framework topic. Okay, and comparable is used to sort my objects based on just one parameter or one basis. Using comparator, you can compare and sort the objects based on multiple parameters, right? So now I want to compare and sort my movies based on title and also year of release and genre. So I will create comparators. So in order to use comparable, what did we do? We simply implemented the comparable interface. This movie class implemented the comparable interface, right? Basically, we wanted to compare the movie objects and we did movie implements comparable. But in order to use comparator, we don't do this. Okay, we don't write movie implements comparator. What do? We create separate comparator classes, right? So comparators are represented as objects in Java. Java is an object-oriented language. Everything in Java is represented as an object, except for primitive data types and static things, right? So I want to create different bases or parameters using which I can compare movie objects, and those bases, or you can call them parameters, are also represented as classes and objects in Java, right? So here I have created class genre comparator. This is a separate class now. Okay, implements comparator. So what are we supposed to do here? Here we are simply supposed to create a comparator whose object we will create later sometime, right? And that object will be used by my JVM to compare two movies. Okay, now how do we create them? How do we create the comparator? C class genre comparator implements comparator. And what do you want to compare? I want to compare movie. So I must mention this movie as okay, I must mention this movie as the generic here, right? Comparator movie. Okay, and here I had written the code. Let me just simply copy paste the code. Okay, I don't need this method now. And oh, what's this? All right, so I have created a genre comparator. How? create a separate class genre comparator, implement the inbuilt interface comparator, and use movie as a generic here. Now this comparator interface has an inbuilt method which is compare. Interface as a method, it's by default abstract, so I must implement this abstract method. This is abstraction, right? So the whole purpose of abstract method is to get implemented, is to get overridden, right? So we are overriding this compare method. It's in the comparator interface. Now you know what is an interface. Now this compare method takes two movie objects because we want to compare movies, right? That's why we are passing movie as a generic here. Now once we pass movie O1, movie O2, okay, then simply what we can do is, we don't need this. We can simply write here, let's say instead of O1 we can write M1, it's more understandable. Okay, we can simply compare the movies here based on the genres. M1.get genre, this is one thing. Basically genre is also a string, right? So get genre gives me the string. Again you get a string and you use the compare to method, comparing the two genres of two different movies, dot compare to M2 dot get genre. That's it. Let's say the genre of M1 is romance, genre of M2 is thriller, right? So romance, R comes before T, right? So how is it going to compare? Same basis. If the first value is greater than the second, we get a positive number. If the first value is smaller than the second, we get a negative number. If both are same, we get the zero, right? So here simply we are writing this, we are returning this, the number, the return type is int here. How? By comparing the two strings like this. Okay. All right. Now this is how I have compared the two movies based on the genres, right? Now let me also create another comparator. Remember again, what are we doing? We are trying to create comparators. Why are we doing this? Because we want to sort movie objects. In order to sort movie objects, there must be a basis on which JVM should be able to compare the movie objects. Why is there a basis? I told you with this example. In order to sort anything, you must have a basis, okay, to compare different objects. Here we compared these balls based on the sizes. Similarly, to compare the movies, we are using the basis right now as genres, right? So we always have to have a basis in order to compare and sort any number of objects, but they should be similar objects, right? Now let's create another comparator, year of release. Now I want to create a comparator which should be able to compare my movie objects based on the year of release. Again, what do? Class year of release comparator. You can name this class anything. Implements comparator, and this comparator must have a here a generic as the movie, and that's it. So this compare method now it can take a movie object. So movie, let's write here M1, and movie, let's write here M2. Okay, and that's it. I don't need to typecast, I don't need to downcast and upcast directly. Now who is going to call this method? You might have a question, right? Who is going to call this method? Are you, as a programmer? Would you ever call these methods? No. Programmer is not supposed to call, these compare methods or this compare to method, no, of the movie class or of the comparator classes. No, JVM is supposed to call these methods. As a programmer, your job is simply to define these methods and classes. That's it. Okay, so now we have a comparator, and control Z, yeah, we have a comparator which compares two movies based on the year of release. And what did we do? We simply use this inbuilt method. Basically we are overriding this method. It's present in the comparator interface, and we are writing public int compare movie M1, movie M2. Now again, who will pass these movies? The one who is going to call this movie, this compare method, right? Who is going to call it? JVM. So JVM calls the compare method, and at the same time JVM passes the movie objects M1 and M2. Now what do we have to do? Simply compare the year of releases of these two movies. That's it. How JVM will figure out which movie comes first, which movie comes last, that's up to the JVM. Of course, the basis is this. Okay, this is the basis which JVM will follow, but how it will call, when it will call these methods, that's the headache of JVM. As a programmer, you simply have to declare and define these methods. So here I have defined this method. If the year of release of movie M1 minus year of release of movie M2, right? So let's say, let's have an example here. Let's say I have here, okay, I'm writing here return, let's say 2000. The year of release of first movie is 2000 minus 1999. So which movie should come first and which movie should come later? Of course, the one which is for which the year of release is 1999, right? It should come first in the list, in the sorted list. The one movie which for which the year of release is 2000, it should come later in the sorted list, right? And that's what I have written here. Here, if the first value is greater than the second, positive number means first value is greater, right? 2000 is greater, so it will come later in the list. Okay, greater things means it comes after this, it comes after. Okay, so first value comes after the second one, right? I can also qualify here. First comes after the second movie. Okay, now if the first value is smaller than the second, you get a negative number. Let's have an example here. Let's say the first year of release is 1990. Okay, 1990. Of course, the movie which got released in 1990 should come before the one released in 1999, right? So this movie should come before. So first value is smaller than the second, negative number. Yes, we are getting a negative number, minus 9 here for sure. So first comes before the second movie, right? So here I can write. Now all this is happening internally, right? I'm just telling you so that you know what's happening, but how this works, how JVM calls, that's up to the JVM. So here I can write first comes before the second movie. Okay. Now, all right, so I have now two comparators here. This is the genre comparator, which is supposed to compare the movies based on the genres. Okay, and I have implemented the compare method, and this is the year of release comparator, which is supposed to compare movies based on the year of release. Let me now simply try to use these comparators. Okay. So you have the recordings with you, right? If you don't understand anything, you can always go back and repeat and listen to the recording again. Everything is very clear and concise and to the point, right? So you will be able to understand if you watch the recording again. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll try to sort the movies based on genres and also based on the year of release. How do we do that? Okay, so genre-wise movies I'm printing here. I'm again using this collections.sort method. Collections is an inbuilt class. It has a method sort. I can directly use this sort method because it's a static method. Okay, now what is a static method? There are two types of methods, static and non-static. Okay, non-static methods or instance methods are those which can only be called using an object reference, right? Static methods are mostly like utility methods. They can be called directly by using the name of the class. So in this case, I am using the name of the class collections and I can directly call this sort method. It's a static method. And in this sort method, see, sort method is overloaded. One sort method takes just the array list and sorts the array list based on this comparable interface, right? Now this sort method, which we are using at line number 27, it's taking my array list, but at the same time, it's taking a comparator object. See, everything in Java is represented as an object. So this comparator is also represented as an object. Which is this comparator? Genre comparator. It is this class which we created here. Okay, this, where is it? Genre comparator here. Right, this is my comparator class. I created this class so that I can give basis to my JVM so that it can compare my movie objects and sort them, right? And now how do I use this genre comparator? Simply pass the object of genre comparator in this sort method along with the movies array list. Okay, that's it. JVM will automatically figure out, okay, JVM will know just by looking at it that it has to compare the movies based on this comparator object. That's it. How that as a programmer you don't have to worry about. JVM will simply see, okay, this is a genre comparator object. That means, okay, I have to compare this movies object, this array list objects based on this genre comparator. Okay, now let me try to print the movies here, and let's run this program and let's see what do we get. Here I'll simply right click and run. Now if you see this, so before sorting, this is the very first thing, Judva Titanic. After sorting, these are getting sorted based on the names of the movies, right? And genre wise movies, Judva, Titanic, Get Out, no, we don't know. Let's see the genres of these movies. Of course, we can print the genres also. We'll see how to print them, right? So let's see the genres. For Judva, the genre is D. Yes. Okay. The second one is Titanic. It's R. Okay. The third one is T. So D, R, T. Oh, by default, their genre is okay. By default, their genre is in the ascending order, D, R, T. Okay. If you want, you can change this. Okay. Let me try to change the order in which I add these movies up. The first one is now T, D, R. Let's try to run this program again. Okay, even if I try to change the sequence, still it prints the movies based on the ascending order of the genres, right? So the first one is D. D comes first in the dictionary. So Judwa comes first here, right? Then T. Then for the Titanic, the genre is romance, right? So R comes after that, so Titanic. And for the Get Out, the genre is thriller. Now, the output is not very clear, right? I am seeing the movies, but I'm not getting the genres and year of release. Can I also see the genre and year of releases? Okay, yes, everything has, see, everything is within the bounds of time complexity, Naveen. So we're not discussing that right now. Okay, yeah. All right. So yes, we can print the genres and year of release of these movies. How? Go to the movie class and remember the toString method. Whenever you want the movie object to be printed, whatever you want to print when the movie object gets printed, you can specify that in the toString method. So in the toString method now, this is the toString method of the movie class. Here it's the movie class, right? It is simply printing the title of the movie, right? But now I also want to print the genre and the year of release, so I can print it. So just simply make a string. So here I can write let's say genre. Here I can write genre, right? And so you can use the plus operator to concatenate. Plus year of release, or simply write year, right? And you can see the year in which the movie got released. And here I'm printing, let's say, year of release, right? Now whenever you print any movie object, it's going to print the title, genre and year of release. Now let me run the same program so you can actually see if we are getting the movies based on the ascending order of genre. See, genre wise movies, drama, okay, Judwa, genre, drama, year, this. Yes, so D comes first, then R comes after that, then T comes after that, right? So it is getting printed in the ascending order. Fine. Okay. All right. Till now, if you have any doubts, please let me know. If there are any questions or doubts. So what are we trying to do here, right? Okay. We are trying to replicate something like Netflix, but of course in a very, simplistic manner. So just as Netflix has an array of movies, lots of movies, similarly we can have lots of movies here. And each of the movies can have some title, some year of release, some genre, and also you can add as many state or attributes to the movie. You can add rating. Okay, you can add or maybe actors or actresses or directors, whatever, right? You can add different attributes to each of the movies. Okay, and you can create different comparator objects, just as I have created the comparator objects for year of release and genre. Similarly, you can create a comparator object for, let's say, rating. You can create comparator object for actor or actress, director. Okay, now, okay, so we are getting our movies like this, but I don't want to print my movies like this. I want my movies to be printed in a more uh, you know uh, good looking way, right? So what I can do is, so here I can create a separate method in the same class, my fixed class, right? So let me use distraction free mode here. So here I have another method, list movies. Basically list movies or print movies, I can call it. Okay, so print movies database. It's this method is supposed to print all my movies and all the information about all the movies. Okay, let's write this method now, and it takes this array list of movies, right? And now I can use, how do I do this? I can use a loop, right? So this is a for each loop or an enhanced for loop, right? What is it supposed to do? Just as normal loop is supposed to repeat the iteration, similarly this enhanced for loop is used, it can be used to scroll through your collections object. It can be array list, or it can be an array, or it can be some other collection also, right? So for now we are using array list. So what I'll do is, I'll say for each movie M, okay, in the array list movies, okay, and do something. What I'm going to do, we want to print it. Simply let's print it in a more refined way. First I'll write here, let's say, before printing this, let's simply print movies database. So here I'm writing movies database. Okay, and first and foremost I want to print the name of the movie, so I'll write m dot get title or name. Then I can use some space. Let's say backslash t is used to give a tab space, backslash n is used to move the cursor to the next line. I want to give a tab space between my title and some other, and the maybe the genre of the movie, right? So after that I'll write m dot get genre plus m dot get year of release. That's it, right? And before that also, after printing genre, let me also give a tab space. So it's going to print it more neatly, backslash t here. Okay, and all right, now let me print my movies. Let me use this method to print my movies, and let's see how do we get it. So I'm simply calling my movies here, and you can make this method as static. So if you make it static, you can call it directly. Static methods can be called directly without having to create the objects, right? So I can simply call this method print movies database, that's it. And I must pass my movies object here, because from this movies object, it's going to print my movies like this. Let me run this program and let's see how do we see the output here. Okay, it prints movies database like this, and Judwa drama this, Titanic romance this, thriller, sorry, Get Out thriller this. Okay, you can make it more beautiful again. Okay, it's up to how you want to print it. So what I can do is, just below this, see, I am just giving you a a sort of snapshot, or an example what all you can do with this project, right? I'm just giving you a brief overview. You can add so many things and make it look more beautiful. So I've added this movies database, and I can print the headings. The first thing that we are printing is the title, right? So here I can print title, then backslash t, then I want to print the genre. Okay, let's use capitals. Okay, then backslash t, then we are printing year of release, year, just write year. Okay, now let's run this. Let's see how do we get it. Okay, now we get it in a more readable way. We can give more spaces. Instead of one tab spaces, we can give two tab spaces here. So let's give two tab spaces. You can always make it more better as you want. Basically, the whole point is that you should know that we can create something like this. We can replicate the database of all these apps like Netflix or Amazon Prime. Okay, not wholly, but like in a simplistic way, so that you understand how things work internally. Let me run this now. Run here, right? Now you see it in a better way. So as soon as I click movies database, as I run this, when I run this method, it prints the database. So title, genre, year, Judwa drama, this, Titanic romance, this, Get Out thriller, this. All right. What else can we do in it? We can create a user-driven program, right? So I can write a program wherein I ask the user to add a movie. For that, I can use scanner, right? So I can always use scanner. So let me do this here. So let's try to do this here. Okay. Quickly, just one last thing. Now I'm creating a scanner here, but you can do it. You can run this scanner in a loop, right? So that it asks again and again, right? And you can use the whole switch case if you want for this. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll give you an example here. Let's write here. Enter the. Okay. Let's write here. Oops, my bad. Yeah. So here I can simply write enter a new movie. Okay, I want to enter a new movie in my database, right? So I need three things now. I need title, genre, and year, right? So I can create a scanner. Scanner sc equals new scanner. I'll quickly do it. Scanner, here I'm writing system.in, and okay, then I can create a new movie object. So movie m equals new movie. Okay, and at the same time I can enter the title, genre, and year, right? So here I can write, let's take the title, string title. Okay, okay, I'll see, SM Babu, I'll see if you can get the code. Okay, I'll see if you can get all the code. I'll speak with the team. The string title, I can add sc dot next line. Okay, this will allow us to enter the next title. So let me write here. Title. Okay, and I'll do this just one example. Quickly take the title and genre and year of release, right? So this next one is genre, and the last one is year of release, right? So this is, and the data type has to be year. Okay, and the type has to be, data type has to be int, right? Int year, next int. All right, fine. Now I have taken these things and let me simply add these. So here I'm writing title, comma, genre, comma, year. Okay, I have created a new movie object, and what's the problem with this? Required int. Okay, title, year, genre. Okay, second has to be year, right? All right, title, year, This is how we have created the constructor genre. I have created a new movie object, and let's add it to the database. So I am writing movies dot add my new movie. So I'll add M. Okay, new movie is added, and now let's use this print movies database, right? So here, let me try to print it, and of course you will see the new movie. Okay, now let's run this program and let's see what do we get. Okay, so this is before sorting, after sorting, all this blah blah. Now movies database is till now this title, genre, year, Judwa, Titanic, Get Out, 3 movies, right? I want to enter a new movie. What should I enter? Let's say Matrix. Genre, it's sci-fi. Okay, year, I don't know the year, I think 1999. Okay, enter. See, new movie is added. Okay, movies database, now title, genre, year, Judwa, Titanic, Get Out, Matrix, right? So basically I have added a new movie, right? I have given you the brief overview of how you can create this whole project yourself. Okay, code is here, and of course this thing which I have written like this in the same main method, you can write this in a switch case. You know what's a switch case, right? And you can give options to the user to add a new movie, press 1, to delete any movie, press 2. Okay, now to add movie you can use this add method which I am using here. To delete movie you can use another method, right? So there is a method in the collections framework. If I tell you movies dot, see, as soon as I write movies dot, my IntelliJ is giving me all the methods in the array list, right? So add, sort method is there, get is there, clone is there, and remove is there, right? Int index. Let's say I want to remove this Judwa movie, which is at index 1, right? So I can simply use this remove 1. Okay, here. And now let me try to print it. Print movies database, movies. So it should remove Judwa, right? So let me write after removing a movie. Okay, now let me try to run this quickly before we. Of course, it's asking. Okay, let's write matrix, and genre is sci-fi, and year is 1999. Okay, so it added this matrix movie, and then we removed a movie. No, it did not remove Judwa movie, it removed some other movie, right? The reason is, okay, the reason is because I use the index 1. Index 1, so the index starts from 0, right? So 0 was Judwa, 1 was Titanic, right? And 2 was Get Out, 3 was Matrix. Okay, so yes, it did remove the movie at index 1, which was Titanic. All right, so this is, yeah, Babu, SM Babu, I think we'll figure that out and we'll let you know. We'll let you know how you can download the code which I have written. Probably you will get this code. Okay, I'll speak with the team. Okay, thank you so much guys for your patience and for your time. You have been a great audience and lovely people. I hope you have understood this. Now, this was a very, short session of 5 classes. If there is any doubt, you can always go back and see. Concisely, I have pretty much explained all the fundamentals of Java. Okay, so there has not been a lot of repetitions. So if you can go back and revise, you'll be able to understand if you missed something. And thank you so much for your time. I wish you all a great career. And yes, now I would like to call my teammate.
So yeah, hi guys, I am back. I hope I am in the camera. Not sure. Just a minute.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So I hope everyone was able to understand what has been covered in, you can say, the last 5 days. Right. Okay. So I'm in the camera. Yep. Can we move to the code? Yeah. So the questions, right? How you can get the code files. So what you're going to do is the Notion file that you have, right, is going to have the link to the code as well. So you're going to upload all of this code to GitHub repo, and the repo should be with you by, you can say, tomorrow morning, max maybe by tomorrow, today night itself. Yeah, so today night only we are going to give you the code. all the code will be in the GitHub, you can say the Notion document, right? So you'll see one more line, right, where the code will be there. And for any doubts, right, you can always join in our Telegram and WhatsApp channels, and go and ask your queries. So what do you do next from here, right? So what I would suggest is practice what Lavesh has taught you in the last 5 days, right? Try to research more about Java other than what we have covered. There's a lot of things that I have mentioned in the notes. Please go. The whole team has worked on creating those notes for you with code examples. There are interview questions that we have put in the notes. Please go and again read that. Wherever you get stuck in the notes or in the interview questions, try to Google it yourself.
Yeah, one thing I would like to mention. So whatever I have covered in these 5 days, right? All these things are very essential for the interview. For example, today we covered comparator and comparable. Now this is one of the most asked questions in the interview, right? So how do you compare? What is the difference between comparator and comparable? So whatever we have covered, these topics are also essential for the interview. In between, what I was telling you are all essential things for the interview.
Right. So yeah, certificate link, please go to the one link, right? So if you can just go to the description, there's a one link, just you have to go there, mark your attendance. I don't think we have given any assignment. So just mark your attendance, rate the class, and you will be able to download the certificates once this class ends. Okay, before that, you won't be able to do that. A lot of questions that was, like I say, targeted on what to do next after Java. You want some advanced classes. So please be sure that we are just working on an advanced Java course, right, which should be on the website in a few days though. So it is going to be a very premium course, a very exclusive, only limited students batch, right? So if you're looking to build your career in Java, so we are working on a course which should be out by the end of this month. So whoever is interested can take a look. But apart from that, right, what I majorly want to focus is Java is a wonderful language. Please try to explore, put some time. It might be very hard at first, but eventually you'll fall in love with Java, right? So try to build projects. So we have learned about Netflix backend. So this is, like, I can say, a very basic project, but you can build amazing things in Java. Try to build the whole backend, host it somewhere, and learn a bit of front end, and you can basically have a full stack app with you, right? Try to see, what I will suggest is, so we have our HTML, CSS, and JavaScript class on YouTube as well, right? Go there. We have also built a Netflix clone, and you can use this backend, like, which you have basically created a backend, like, where you can add movie, remove movie, filter movie, right? So it is basically you can say the basics of what Netflix works upon, right? So if you just enhance this code, you can basically build that. We want the advanced or the core Java. So that is in progress. So just give us, you can say, a few weeks time, maybe 2 weeks. So you will see a program on the website, a very fresh new website is coming up. It is in works. The team is working on that, right? So with that, I won't keep you for long. And with that, we will say goodbye. And we'll of course meet again next Monday with yet another program that we are having on ChatGPT. So all the developers out here, please get your friends along, because that ChatGPT prompt engineering lecture that we are going to have is just not for people who want to get their work done, but it is for also essential for developers. So how you can write code efficiently, how it can help you in debugging, right? How you can basically complete your to-dos very quickly with the help of ChatGPT, right? So I hope all the people who are watching this join us on Monday again. If you are not registered, please go to LetsUpgrade, get yourself registered in the program, get your friends, share the link, and I hope to see all of you there again, right? So bye bye. With that, I'll say goodbye. And yeah, so thank you, Lavesh, and thank you everyone for being with us, and bye bye. So I'm just going to put thumbnail screen again.